Welcome to this video. In this video, we will solve surface area and volume problem. This problem appeared in an earlier SSLC examination for 4 marks. Let's look at how to solve this problem. What's the question? The question says a right circular cone of 10 centimeter is cut. So there is a right circular cone like this, of which it is cut at this point, and it is removed by a plane parallel to its base from the vertex. What it basically means is this surface here is parallel to the base. That's what it means. What is the question? The question says if the volume of the smaller cone that is obtained is 1 by 27 of the volume of the given cone, calculate the height of the remaining part of the cone. Now, which is a smaller cone that we are talking about? When we say smaller cone, this is what we mean. The top part which we cut. What do we mean by given cone? When we say given cone, we actually mean the entire cone. And what do we mean by remaining part? When we say remaining part, this is what we mean, this height. So whatever cone is left after cutting the top, height of that part of the cone. Okay, so this is a question. Now let's see how to solve this. By the way, the answer happens to be 20 centimeter, and we'll see how to find this answer. The first step that we will do is we'll use the concept of a similar triangle. If you really observe, this ABC triangle here is a right angle triangle. Similarly, APQ is a right angle triangle, and they are similar. Okay. In other words, what do I mean by that? This angle is 90 degree. This angle is common, which means this angle is the same. In other words, they are similar triangles. Using similar triangles, what can we say? We can say that the BC when divided by PQ, which is R1 divided by R2, is same as H1 divided by 30. Okay. Just looking at these two triangles as similar triangles and saying that the ratio of the sides are the same, which is what we have written here. Okay. This is the first step, and we'll use this later when we use the volume formula. Okay. Let's go to the next step. Next, we'll use what is given in terms of volume of the cone. So we have been told that the volume of the smaller part is 1 by 27 of the volume of the bigger part. Right? So the volume of the smaller part is 1 by 27 of the volume of the bigger part. So that's what we have been told. Now what are we going to do? We will use the volume of the cone formula. What is the volume of the cone formula? It says volume of the cone is 1 divided by 3 pi r square h. That's the volume of the cone formula. So what we are going to do is we will substitute for the small cone that we have cut, and we'll also substitute for the larger cone. That's the next step. Shall we do that? Let's go. So this is the step. So what are we doing here? Now look at this. Let's look at the smaller cone. The smaller cone has radius R1 and height H1. Hence we write 1 by 3 pi R1 square multiplied by H1. The larger cone has radius R2 and height H2. Now height H2 has been given as 30, but for now we are writing it as H2. And that's what we substitute here. What's the next step? If you simplify, you can cancel pi by 3 on both sides, which is the same on both sides, the same thing. And you're left with R1 square H1 equals 1 by 27 R2 square H2. If you simplify this further, by doing substitution for value of H2, we get 30 because the height of the overall cone is 30 centimeter. The next step is we take R2 square to the left hand side, and when you take R2 square to the left hand side, it will end up being R1 square divided by R2 square multiplied by H1, and on the right hand side we'll simplify 30 divided by 27. 30 happens to be 3 times 10. 27 is 3 times 9, so 3 gets cancelled. You end up with 10 divided by 9. Let's call this equation number 2. So this is equation number 2. So we already had the equation number 1 using similar triangles. This is equation number 2. Let's write those two equations. So the first equation was based on similar triangles concept, which was R1 divided by R2 is H1 divided by 30. The second one is this equation. What we'll do next is we'll substitute for the value of R1 by R2 with H1 by 30 in this equation. So when we do that, when we substitute for, basically we use the first equation in the second one, we can say that H1 divided by 30 whole square multiplied by H1 equals 10 by 9. All we've done is we've taken this bit here and substituted with H1 by 30. Now if you simplify this, what happens? So we're left with H1 square divided by 30 multiplied by H1, which is equal to 10 by 9. We're going to simplify this. How will we simplify? Look at this, right? So H1 square becomes H1 square multiplied by H1. So this whole thing becomes H1 cube. And the denominator 30 square becomes 30 square, which is 900. We're left with numerator as H1 cube and denominator as 30 square, which is 900. Now if you simplify this further, 9 times 100 is 900. So if you take 900 to the right hand side, we end up with H1 cube equals 1000. Okay, this is a simple simplification. We end up with H1 cube as 1000. Now if you pay attention, 1000 is 10 cube. Hence we can say that H1 is 10 centimeter. If you take a cube root of 1000, you will get 10 centimeter. Because 10 cube happens to be 1000. Cool. So now we have got a value. So what value did you get? We got the height of this cut cone. So the portion of the cone that has been removed, we have the height of it now. Since we have the height of this part, what are we supposed to find? If you recollect, we were supposed to find the height of the remaining part of the cone, which means this value BP. We are supposed to find BP. What we found was we found AB. Now we have to find BP. Let's do that. So we know the value of AB, which is 10 centimeter. We know that height of the remaining part of the cone is BP, which equals BP minus AB. So basically this height is the entire height minus this height. If you substitute that, you get 30 minus 10, which happens to be 20 centimeter. And 20 centimeter is the number that we were looking for. So that's the final answer. All right. So using similar triangles and volume formula, we were able to solve this problem. Thanks for watching this video. Soon we will solve another problem. Till then, bye.